I'm just going to come straight out and say it. Big Walk is not Game of the Year. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Big Chetty, and today I want to talk about Big Walk. I have a big talk about Big Walk, a brand new co-op friend slop game from the developers of Untitled Goose Game, House. And yeah, you may have seen a lot of clips of this game on the internet recently, and I'm here to tell you this game is just okay. I'm just going to jump into exactly what Big Walk is because you may have seen a lot of clips online and kind of wondering what this is. You may want to check it out for yourself. So, again, use this video as sort of a buyer's beware. Maybe you might be interested, maybe you're not. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Big Walk is an open world co-op game where you will solve puzzles across this mysterious island with up to 11 of your friends using some basic physics mechanics, some variation in different puzzles, and the always alluring proximity chat. And in my humble opinion, this game absolutely classifies as friend slop. A lot of people are sort of debating whether it is or not. At the end of the day, to me, it is. It shares a lot of the same characteristics that we would consider other games to be friend slop. Games like Repo, Lethal Company. You know the games we're talking about here. You got weird, goofy, silly characters, some weird, goofy physics, and proximity chat, which happens to be in a lot of those games. So yeah, it is friend slop, albeit a lot slower and perhaps more emphasis on teamwork and completing things together as a team. Maybe a little more rewarding than something like Repo or Lethal Company. And before I get into the reasons why I don't think this game should be nominated for Game of the Year, and let alone win it, I mean, there's some people online already saying it should win Game of the Year, and that's just insane to me, especially when we have so many other games coming down the line. 2026 has been a solid year for games, in my opinion, but I think the term friend slop and the genre that friend slop is, I think it's a negative connotation put on it, and I think that's unfortunate because although I agree this is a friend slop game, I think friend slop games are great. They're great at what they do. They're meant to be wacky, silly fun with your friends. And Big Walk achieves that. That's what Big Walk set out to do. The devs set out to make a game like this, and they made it. And yeah, it's fun for what it is. But it is what it is. And I don't really understand why people are blowing this out of proportion. Like, yes, I agree. There is lots of fun to be had in Big Walk, and playing with my friends off stream, I actually had a lot of fun. There was some fun to be had. But this game is extremely conditional. And what I mean by that is you literally need friends to play with. And I know that sounds ridiculous because, well, yeah, obviously it's a co-op game. It's meant to be played with friends. But no, you cannot play this game solo. You actually need friends to play it. Now, I'm not going to dock full marks from the game for that because that's inherently in its design. That's what it's made to do. But if you don't have a group of friends to play with, you're kind of out of luck just out of the gate. I'd also like to argue that you need a group of smart friends or competent friends to play this game. Playing this game with random people you've met or like, hey, I know this one guy, can he come along? That's not going to make for a great Big Walk experience. As it's been marketed in well, actually, I think the first time we saw this was like 2 or 3 years ago at the Game Awards. But it's supposed to be about walking long distances, talking with your friends, talking about how to solve puzzles, and just being there with your friends, which is great. But you got to have the right mix of people for that. Friend groups are diverse. You've got different types of people with different likes and interests. And for example, at the top of my head, if you've got a friend who really enjoys playing Call of Duty or enjoys playing the new Madden every year and just sits on the couch with a Benjamin, and that's his gaming experience, don't bring that guy here. He's probably not going to enjoy this game. He's probably not going to be a good help for this game. You need people who want to be there, who want to help you solve puzzles, who want to sit, talk, yap, be funny, and sort of create the experience that Big Walk offers players to create. Because that's a big part of it, is they sort of give you the tools and a little bit of the know-how on how to solve puzzles and move forward in the game, but a lot of the fun is user-generated. And that works for some people, but that doesn't work for everybody. And I fully acknowledge that I played this game with the best case scenario. I checked all the boxes, all the conditions were met for me and my friends to have a 10 out of 10 experience. Not only did I play this game with just some of my friends. I play this game with some of my best friends, my most trusted best friends in the whole world. I love those guys. I've known them for years, since the beginning of high school, since the beginning of college. 10 plus years of laughter, love, history, chemistry that we have together that I got to bring into this game. We were laughing together, we were solving puzzles, and it was generally a good time, but that's not going to be the case for every single player who plays this game. And I don't think that can be game of the year. And that's why I'm making this video. It's why I've become so frustrated with seeing opinions online, especially from other gaming outlets like IGN and others giving this game 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You're not giving the game 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You're giving your experience with your friends 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Yes, 10 out of 10. I would hang out with my friends again. Of course you would. They're your friends. Like, yes, if you do have a good group of friends to play with and you check all the boxes, then yeah, you're going to have a good time. But if you're asking genuinely to critically rate this game, to put it up for awards, to put it on a pedestal, where we put other games on a pedestal, where we critically analyze other games, especially this year, because there's a lot of good stuff coming out, you cannot seriously tell me this game is a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. There's no way. So I'm going to take the time to personally talk about a few things that I think didn't work in this game, or I think things that could change and make the game better, or make it closer to what people are saying it is, a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 experience. Because I'm nowhere near that. I'm very mixed about the inventory system in this game. So when you play this game, there are a bunch of items that you can pick up that are very useful. You can pick up flashlights, walkie-talkies, different orbs of lights to light your way, binoculars, flare guns. But in Big Walk, you can only carry with your arms. That's it. You don't have anything to carry with until you find a backpack and a holster. And the whole idea is to promote teamwork in this game. From the ground up, the whole game is designed around that. From the puzzles to talking to each other, from just sort of exploring the island together. And when it works, I think it works great. But I think with some parts of the inventory system, it doesn't work. For example, the holster. Once you find one of these spiral blue buildings where you can unlock a backpack or a holster, once you equip a backpack, you can put one of the items on your back and carry it with you, allowing you to carry more stuff and potentially help you find another puzzle or find another point of interest to explore the island. Trouble is, you cannot access stuff from your backpack by yourself. So if I was carrying a backpack and I had binoculars on my backpack, I cannot pull them out myself and then scan. I need someone to grab the binoculars off my backpack and then drop them on the ground or hand them to me. But I'm an expert gamer. I say go with the flow. Okay, so I can't grab stuff off my own backpack. I'll get one of my friends to do it. I draw the line, however, at the holster. The holster is very similar to the backpack. It's something you can equip on your hip, and you can equip items to it, but you still can't grab items off of your own hip. You still need another player to put stuff on and take stuff off. That just becomes very frustrating. I can kind of understand the backpack. Okay, fine. But not being able to grab stuff off your hip, especially if you're in a pinch, which oftentimes can happen in this game. If you get lost, the island at first can be very daunting and large, and if you somehow get split up from your group, and you need to grab a walkie-talkie because you can hear your friends saying, hey, we're over here, and you can't grab the walkie-talkie and respond, that's just more frustrating than good gameplay. Especially because if you do get separated, there is a big, long walk in between you and your friends, and you have to get there. I think that's more frustrating than fun gameplay. And speaking of getting lost and separated, during our time playing the game, my friends often complain about how dark nighttime was in this game. There's a day and nighttime cycle in the game, and it gets very dark. Sort of pushing players or imploring them to grab a flashlight or grab one of the orbs and have one player carry it around and sort of be a beacon while you navigate the island at nighttime, because it is very dark. Arguably too dark, but I concede again, and I say, okay, that's part of the game. Is it's supposed to be super dark? Here's a flashlight. Now you lead the way. You go. You're the Boy Scout. You go. Okay, fine. However, I would also say that the day and night cycle are far too quick. It seems that through a lot of talking, walking, and planning, because that is pretty much the game, the day and night cycles keep cycling back and forth. And right before we're about to embark on a new adventure, to go to another side of the island or try to solve a puzzle, it seems like it gets dark way too quickly, and we're just scrambling for lights again because During the daytime, lights aren't really an item that you want to be carrying with you because you only have so much inventory space. So you'd rather be carrying a map or the walkie-talkie, like quite literally anything else. I'd say even the flare gun's better than that. At least you can light the way and show people where you are over a flashlight. The day and night cycle was just way too quick, and nighttime was just a little too frustrating. It wasn't fun. I would also like to add, and maybe this is just a PlayStation 5 issue because that's where we played this. We experienced some frame drops and some slowdowns. Nothing game breaking, nothing to ruin my experience, but some very clear and visual frame drops that felt kind of like, really? Really? Like, for a game of this size and how simple this game is, I'm getting frame drops for this? That didn't feel great. And I don't see a lot of people talking about it, to be honest. So it could just be a PS5 thing, but I had to bring it up. Unfortunately, at times, the game can feel very boring as well, especially in between certain POIs and walking in between puzzles. Yes, I understand this is what the game is about. I am blatantly aware it is about walking, talking, and enjoying the experience. I get that. But there comes a point after 3 or 4 sessions, after backtracking and looking for the beans or the pieces that you missed, that you kind of get bored of just walking around and the game sort of becomes sleep aid. Is that inherently a negative thing? No. But to me and some other players, yeah, it can be kind of boring. So I am sort of counting that as a negative. It kind of slow and kind of slow in a bad way sometimes. And like, yeah, the devs went to the trouble of adding some fast travel with the train and the chairlift to sort of making getting around the island a little bit easier. I just think it would have been a little bit better if there was perhaps maybe another train going on in the opposite way of the island, or maybe another chairlift going in the opposite way of the island, or maybe if the train moved a little bit faster instead of 5 kilometers an hour, maybe I could move a switch to put it into at least 10 kilometers an hour, just something a little bit faster, just at maybe 1.5 speed, just to make it a little bit quicker to move around. And that would feel very rewarding too, to finally unlock this train to see another part of the island, and then maybe another couple unlocks and the train moves a little bit faster for me because now I'm so familiar with the island. And yeah, you will get very familiar with the island because you're going to be walking around a lot and doing a lot of backtracking. Again, I don't think that's all bad, but it does get very boring. Lastly, I'd say an issue with Big Walk is value. This is a game about big walking, big talking, and hanging out with your friends. This is not a game of big value. I cannot see anyone seriously playing this more than twice, and I would argue even playing it twice is a little bit of a stretch. Once I complete the game fully, I have no interest in playing the game again. Now, I have beat the game. I have the trophy for beating the game. I just don't have the fully 100% completion, which we will be going back, me and my friends doing this weekend at some point. So I don't really think you're getting a lot of value out of the game because once you play it, you're done. I'll give the game credit for having sort of different variations of puzzles for depending on how many players you have, 2, 3, or 4. The puzzles sort of change a little bit, and yeah, like that's cool. But there's not really a reason to go back. And if you did a 4-player game, to go back and see a 3-player version, there's really no excitement there, and there's no really big reward for going back through a second time with other friends. You'd have to really love this game to do that. On top of that, going back to my other point about checking all the conditions for this game, I got this game for free. All of my friends did. On PlayStation Plus, the premium members, it's free. I paid $0 for this game. The best price possible for a gamer. It was free. And I still had problems with it. So charging the actual price for what it is, I believe it's $20 Canadian or $13 American. I think it's worth about half that, to be honest. And some people may not like to hear that, but just for how simple and how long and what the game actually is, that's probably what it's worth. However, all of that being said, I have to give the team credit for making some very fun puzzles. I think the puzzles were right in the slot. I think the puzzles weren't too challenging. I don't think they were too easy. I thought they were just right. And I thought there was decent variables in the puzzles as well. There was some similarities. There were some that were maybe a little too similar, but there was audio puzzles, there was visual puzzles, there was puzzles where you were blind, you had to guide someone through. There was a little bit of a parkour puzzle. So The variety I thought was there. The challenge I thought was there, especially towards the end of the game, which I'm going to bring up later. And I think the team deserves all the flowers, all the credit for creating puzzles that were extremely fun. I just don't personally enjoy all the stuff in between. At the first couple hours, yes. The first couple hours walking around, seeing the views with your friends, great. But after you spend, I'd say, more than 6 hours in this game, you'll realize that the graphics aren't that great. The nighttime's pretty annoying, and walking back and forth without communication is kind of annoying. And which, by the way, we did play this game the proper way with proximity chat. We did not cheat once during this game, and I'm proud to say that. We only used proximity chat. We met up in the PlayStation party chat just to say, "Hey, we're going on," and then we went right to right to the game's proximity, and we never left. Because if you play without the proximity chat, then there's no point to this game whatsoever, in my opinion. It completely ruins the experience, and you'll just have a miserable time just walking. Like it just that just wouldn't be fun. The whole game is based off the proximity chat. The best part of the game is the puzzles. They were just so much fun. I felt very engaged with my friends to solve these puzzles, to talk about planning them. And towards the end of the game, there's some puzzles that completely take away your ability to talk to each other, and I thought those were so much fun. Really challenging, but also like really interesting how you're sort of making up this body language to sort of talk to each other and sort of solve these puzzles without saying a word to each other. So that's why it's important to play with the game chat and not through Discord or a PlayStation or a chat or whatever. To use the actual in-game proximity chat is so important for this game's fun. And I'm also like really proud to say that we never really had any major screw ups. A couple of us here and there had a few little hiccups of like, like, oh, they forgot to relay information. A couple of my friends did it, and one of the last puzzles, for some reason, I went brain dead. I lost some electricity in my neurons, and I forgot a thing we've been doing since the beginning of the game. But we never lost maybe more than 5 to 10 minutes on a puzzle when we did make a mistake. But most of the puzzles we got in the first 2, 3 maximum tries. Like we got them right away. On a personal level, there was a puzzle that we had to do with like it was an audio puzzle where we were in like this bandstand, like half shell sort of thing, and there were a bunch of microphones. There was like 6 microphones in a semicircle, and there was a chair in the middle, and someone had to put headphones on, and someone had to go around each of the microphones and press a button and see which one's, and the person in the chair to see which one's the loudest. Maybe because we were talking too much or something. My friends didn't get that one right away, but for some reason my hearing was on peak that day. I don't know. I had a hearing buff on, and I was able to hear it, and I solved that one pretty quickly. And my friends said, "Hey, good job, Chetty," and it felt great. That was good. That felt very rewarding. That I helped, solve a puzzle for my friends. That was awesome. And it also felt like the puzzles were designed well enough that like everyone can contribute something, even if you have a certain amount of players. We play with 5 players, which is kind of an awkward amount, but it felt like everyone in my squad was contributing something. Everyone solved the puzzle at some point. Every single one, even me, even I, poor old Jetty, stupid old Jetty. Even I solved some puzzles. So that felt very good. And sort of someone came up with a game plan. We executed it, and most of the time it worked. We had a who know like, hey, we're smart fellers. What can I say? But there's a clip I'm about to show you that I'm most proud of as a group. This is one of the puzzles from closer to the end of the game where it's completely silent. You can't say anything. Nobody can hear you. You don't even know who's who. The game removes all color from you. You can't tell who's who or what's what. And this footage you're about to see is completely first try, and I had to clip it because nobody was going to believe it. But anyway, here it is. Okay, fucking goated. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck? That's insane. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my god. What the actual fuck? Okay, we're too good. What the hell was that? No one's ever gonna believe. Someone's gonna save that gameplay. No one's ever going to believe that. That's just a crazy clip. So if I'm going to leave this video with one final word, I'll say that is The Big Walk a good game? And the answer is yeah. Yeah, it is a good game. It's a solid game. Is it the best game of the year? Is it game of the year? I'm going to say no. It's not game of the year. This game is not for everybody. Your experience will vary. And I played it with quite literally, in my opinion, the best case scenario. I paid nothing for the game. I played with people who were extremely competent, and I played with my best friends in the whole wide world, and I love them. And we have fun. I mean, we have fun no matter what we do, but the amount of laughter and jokes that we had when we were playing was great. That's why I streamed it, and we had a lot of fun. But all that being said, I just don't think this is a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 game. If I were to rate this game right now, critically rate it, even though I had fun, this is about a 6.3 for me. 6.3 on the Chetty scale. That's just where I'm at with it. This doesn't mean I hated it. This doesn't mean it's the worst game of all time. And that doesn't mean you can't have fun with a 6.3. I think that's something that needs to be said too. Just because it's not a 9 or an 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 doesn't mean I didn't have fun. I can still have fun with a 6.3 because I was there with my friends. And I did enjoy the journey. I just was done after the first 12 hours. After that, I was like, okay, I'm about ready to hang up the controller here. The only reason we're going back is to finish the trophies because we just happen to be trophy hunters. So anyways, guys, if you agree with me, you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like, and I will see you in the next video, which, the way things are going today, is probably going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6 leak video. So, thank you so much, guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.